The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What's up? Welcome to Cowboys Storyline Tuesday, December 17th. I'm Nick Eatman. We have different showtime today. Had to shuffle some things around, but still, for most people that are watching this later on or watching this at night, they won't know the difference. So all good. We already got callers on the line. We're going to take calls all day long. And we got the shows all day long as well. It doesn't stop even when we move things around. Even when Chris is not in the office, looks like Jazz is back there rolling things today. So, all right, let's go to let's start it off with the calls. Let's get right after it here. Irene in Falls Church, Virginia has been on the line. Irene, what's up?
Hey, good morning. Shout out to Jazz for subbing today. Couldn't leave you hanging with the time change just in case, I had to call in. I'll give you my question and comments and then take your answers off air to keep the lines clear.
Thank you.
Don't think it sounded like there was an injury update on Jordan Lewis yesterday. I haven't seen anything come through today, so wondering about that, especially with Diggs out for the season. Buccaneers obviously have Mike Evans, and then this McMillan kid really shown up since Godwin went down. I think the other thing is that this will be a huge game for Kendricks and Leofau with both running backs. I have Rashad White on one of my fantasy teams, and he is great as a receiver on screens and wheel routes, so that's something to watch. One last thing, shameless plug for the Storyliners community. Our guy Travis in San Antonio has started a draft show. Doesn't mean we won't watch your draft show. We will. It'll air Monday night. They're going through position groups. There's a couple other guys who started with them. They don't call into the show, but they listen. Kyle and Kaysen, shout out to them. I'm 45 minutes into a 2-hour and 15-minute podcast. We're discussing bow-leggedness, so I'm loving it. All right, that's it. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you. I did see that. I did see there was another draft show, Storyliners edition. That'll be interesting. And it sounds like you guys are already starting it. That's one of the things that for us we've always kind of tried to figure out when's the best time to do that. Personally, I think starting it in January is fine. Let's wait till everybody declares for the draft and see who's out there and see what the order is and all that good stuff. But you know what? In a season like this, people want to just go ahead and start thinking about next year. Next year, they're 0-0. They haven't won or lost any games. So I get that concept as well, but it's just there's just a lot to figure out, and nothing really happens until they start getting pro days and combine and stuff like that. That's when it starts to heat up. So I always kind of I would wait a little bit, but you guys get after it, have some fun with that. As Irene was talking about Tampa, they're obviously playing better. I think they've won 4 straight games. So they've had a tough year as far as like their fans go, as a roller coaster type. They've had some where they beat Detroit and they beat Philly. When they beat Philly in Week 4, I don't think Philly has lost since then, and they haven't. But it certainly didn't look like one team was going to win like 10 in a row, and one team was going to kind of have an up and down year, just the way Tampa won that game. But they've had a rough patch there. Baltimore, Kansas City, San Francisco, Baltimore. Those are tough losses. But since then, they've won 4 straight games, and they're in first place in their division, I believe. So they have an opportunity to do some things. But the way Dallas is playing too, it should be a good one. I know there's some talk about flexing this game down at some point, but it's the Cowboys, and so they're playing better. Tampa Bay's obviously playing better, so I think it's going to work out fine for NBC. All right, let's go to Brian in Kansas City.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
I never get to say good afternoon, Nick.
I know. It's rare. You can always say it. You can say whatever you want. But you can say happy Monday even when it's not. So, but I understand what you're saying.
Roger that. And like Irene, I'll double down on Jazz handling business this morning. We always love to talk to her, and boy, she's got this thing running smoothly.
Yeah, she does. So
I got 2 things.
All right.
One is kind of a big picture question, and then one is a this week question.
Okay.
So just knowing who we're facing this week, and I want to know, not asking what you think the Cowboys are going to do. I want to know what you think.
Okay.
I think if it was me, I'd put McQuamu on Evans just for body style, just for body type, I mean. Just put the biggest guy out there and, maybe, put the safety over the top or whatever. But that's what I think I would do. Kind of interested to see what your opinion on that is. And then, I called in on the break this morning and through this, they called it a grenade into the mix. When everybody's healthy and, I'm making the guess that Martin might hang up his cleats, would you want Hoffman at center and BB at guard or the other way around? And I'll hang up and take that one off air, brother.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll answer that part first. I think that their body types are similar. That's why it was a good competition at center. I would imagine, BB didn't play center in college, and then the knock on him was that he didn't have long enough arms to play guard, so that's why they put him at center. Let's see what the coaching staff looks like. Let's see what the running game looks like. Is there going to be a new coach? Is there going to be a new offensive line coach? I mean, those are questions that, if you're going to ask those for down the road, then I think that all the cards have to be on the table. It's a good question, and it's hard to answer because I think one person could see it one way, one person could see it another. I think it's got to come down to comfort. Who also can do this and that. Is Hoffman, is he better at guard than he is center? Those are just things that need to be kind of graded out. But it's a good question because I think it's one that it could go either way. And sometimes when you have close calls, it comes down to tiebreakers. And the tiebreaker here could be shotgun snaps. Who does that better? Who makes the calls better? Who reads the defense better? So good question there. And I don't have a great answer. I think if they both can play, they'll line up. And that really could be the case because Hoffman is just doing too much when he's in the game for it to be a coincidence. The first game that he played, Arizona, they lost. They didn't do well in the red zone. You maybe blame some of it on him, but they ran it well. Then he played again against Washington at the end of the season. And Washington wasn't very good, had guys out, a lot of points scored. This year, he's gotten in the game, but now he's playing against pretty good teams, pretty good defenses, and they keep doing better and better each week. So I think he's a big part of it as well. And then your first part about McQuamu versus Mike Evans, it's not always first and goal at the 5. It's not always fades. So when you see that, you're like, oh, that would be a good matchup. But what about at midfield when McQuamu's got to turn those hips? He's got to run with it. It could be a 5-yard slant, and it could be a stop. It could be a go. That's why Mike Evans is in a very, very rare company when it comes to what he's done. I believe he's the only player in NFL history to start his career with 9 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He may be up to 10 at some point. Now he may be at 10. He's so good, and he's good on the entire field. McQuamu hasn't proven, hasn't had the opportunity all the time, but he hasn't really proven to be that shutdown corner or that, just every down corner. So I don't know if I like that. I think your best cover guy has got to be on him, that your best guy. And even though he doesn't match up, height-wise, and it could be Deron Bland, but I would probably go that route. Maybe when you get to the red zone, you want to try something different. I'm fine with that. All right, let's go to Jeff in Salt Lake City.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's been a while since I talked to you, but just wanted to let you know I listen to every show and have kind of heard everything over the last little bit. But I just wanted to give you my thoughts. I hope I'm not backtracking a little bit, but just over the last, they talk about us winning 3 of the last 4 games, which is great. I don't ever root for Dallas to lose. I love the draft just like everybody else. I'd love the higher draft pick, but a win is a win, and I'll take it. But in regards to potential new coaching staff or head coaching search following this season, if it happens or not. I hope the Jones boys just take in the totality of the season. And I know, like you've said in the past, take into the totality of the past 5 seasons. You can't discount the 3 12-5 seasons. But I just don't feel that this coaching staff gives us an advantage. Earlier in the year, a lot of the players were talking about not focused. Practices were terrible and all that kind of stuff. And that falls on your coaching staff. That's where I know they've been playing well over the last, 3 to 4 weeks, but look who we've played. We've played the bottom barrels of the bottom barrels of the NFL, and those are the teams that we've beaten. So I listening to the Jones boys over their interviews over the last couple days and listening to what Steven says, it seems like the excuse for this season, if things continue to kind of digress, is going to be the injuries. I just want to throw a comparison out to you. Like, look at Detroit is going through the same thing right now. Like, they have a skeleton crew out there on defense, and they're 12-2. Although we lost our quarterback, our team wasn't playing well even when Dak was playing. We were 3-5 when he got hurt. So I don't want them to use the injuries as an excuse for a lost season. One more thing.
Why not, though? But here's the thing. Okay, Detroit. Who else? I mean, because Detroit did not lose Goff. They didn't. And let's see what happens when they lost their running back. They lost Aiden Hutchinson. I know that they have done a good job, and they're not Detroit. Detroit is on a higher level. But so if it's not the injuries, I mean, like, is it just coaching? You think it's just coaching?
Well, but you say Detroit's on a higher level. So do the Joneses actually believe that? Do they believe coming into this year that they could compete with Detroit?
Well,
if you say that they're on a higher level.
Well, they're a better team, and that we saw that when they came in here and dominated the game. I mean, they are on a higher level for this year. No one's comparing the franchises. Right. I mean, Detroit. No. Yeah, Detroit's still looking for their best win of all time. I mean, they're seeking it now. So, but my point is it coaching now? Was it not coaching at 12-5, but now it is? Like, I don't know. You have to throw in the injuries. You have to. I mean, that's part of it.
And I agree. We had some losses all the way back into training camp. So
right.
I agree with you there. I just don't want them to come out and then just say it's all injuries. And then when it comes into free agency this coming offseason, listening to what Steven's saying, he's going back to the cap, things like that. I don't want them to come out and say, like, well, look what we're getting back next year. That's going to make us better. Meanwhile, we're not adding anything. We have 10 draft picks. We're going to have a lot of potential free agent losses this offseason with Osa and Golston on the defensive line, Jordan Lewis. We're going to be losing a lot, and we're not going to have enough assets to be able to replenish that in the draft. So that I'm hoping there's going to be a potential mindset change. And whether that's a new coaching staff, a new regime that comes in, I just hope that things change for the better.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know, Nick. I'm venting a little bit. You kind of.
That's okay. No, I appreciate it, Jeff. Appreciate the call, and you're not wrong in that nobody wants to hear the excuse part of it. Let's throw this part out there. You're going to hear this side from the front office because we heard it in camp. In training camp, Jerry said, we got 10 Pro Bowlers on this team. We have 10 guys, and I think 14 guys who have been to the Pro Bowl, but 10 guys that were in a Pro Bowl. 8 of them are position guys. Aubrey and Anger, those guys don't get hurt. They've been good. They've been fine for sure. Your 8 position guys that you have, those are the guys that they were counting on. 6 of those guys have been on injured reserve this year, and missed it 4 games or more. And Michael wasn't on injured reserve, but he's missed 4 games or more. He should have been on injured reserve, and so that's significant. That's not just what everyone's dealing with. That's significant. Those are the guys they were leaning on, and they got hurt, and they got hurt a lot. Now, when you said before that, I mean, they weren't playing well. Look at the New Orleans game. Great example. We saw that problems right then and there were a lot of these guys still there, still healthy. So I'm not giving them a complete pass on that. But you have a chance to get better, turn things around. Yeah, it was 1 game, 2 games, whatever. Let's get better and play better. And then when that was happening, the injuries just never stopped. So I think injuries are part of it. It's not all of it though. And so I'm with you on some. And I think it is legitimate for them to say, kind of what if, but if I do think that McCarthy's done a nice job in the 5 years that he's been here. They didn't forget how to coach, but they knew that this year was going to be tough. That their depth was going to be tested. They could not afford to have key injuries, and they had a ton of them. And I think when you add those together, that's kind of what you end up with. All right. Let's go back to the phone lines here. Travis in San Antonio. What's up, man?
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Shout out to Jazz in the back for being on and doing a great job. I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the show, but I'm kind of picking up. I guess that's sort of what I've kind of hitting so far. It's not the same stuff you guys have talked about, but I was having a little Twitter chat with Rick in Massachusetts and then Mike across the pond about some stuff. And actually, it was a thread that Derek had commented on. All positive stuff, Nick. None of the normal Twitter stuff where people are getting crazy. Just good conversation. And I guess I look at Mike McCarthy. My only thing with Mike McCarthy is it sounds like Jerry's saying that him and Zim are tied together, and it sounds like they definitely want Zim back, which means Mike will probably be back. And my thing is, I said it after Dak went down in the Atlanta game, Nick, and I think it's kind of the thing you were just talking about. I'm judging him. Don't forget, we can't forget how the offense looked before Dak went down. I'm not going to absolve, the whole season on offense of, they had injuries, but pre-Dak, how did it look? And we saw some of the same issues, which I think might have been what you were just talking about, but we saw some of the same issues on offense that we saw in the previous years. So I don't think that can be ignored, right? But then I wanted to spin it forward because we talked about, now all of a sudden we have a backup quarterback in. We were talking about it going into the Niner game about just maybe trying to commit more. I don't know if you remember that call, but commit more to the run. Now you start seeing Nick, Mike is sort of gone that route because, and maybe this is just speculation on my part, but because he has Cooper Rush in there, he's starting to commit to the run a little bit more and make it an emphasis. And we can sit here and say, it's just Brock Hoffman being in for Zach, but that's not true because, if I told somebody that we have Adoga starting at left tackle against Carolina, then he goes to right guard, then you have Brock Hoffman going to right guard, going to center. And the weird thing is, Nick, we're just plugging offensive linemen in there and still running the ball well. So I do think sometimes it comes back to, even though it's not just as simple, Nick, but just making a commitment to running the ball, getting your offensive line moving forward, and all of a sudden pass protection becomes a little bit easier because you wear guys down. So I want to hit you with this and let you answer it, but you made a comment yesterday about Greg Olsen being a great commentator, and I agree. He asked the question, Nick, that I want to get your opinion on going into next year, because if Mike McCarthy is here, he asked during the game on the broadcast, I think this team, and Mike McCarthy especially, is going to have to look at how they're winning games last year and how they're winning games right now. And does the way that they're winning games right now, running the ball, serve them better to make a deep run in the playoffs versus the way they were doing it before, like last year?
Okay.
So I just want to see your thought on that.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the call, Travis. I agree with that because we found that out. We've been seeing that here in the last few years. Playoff football does come down to the running game. And I know the NFL has changed into a more wide open passing league and all that, but you still got to run the ball. And the Cowboys were blown out last year at home by Green Bay. That committed to doing that, and they were better at running it. And they ran it right down the Cowboys' throat, and there's nothing they could do about it. And the year before, when they lost to the 49ers, same type of thing. It was a running game. It was a physical type game. And I think that's what happens in the playoffs, and you have to figure that out. I think you're right about that they're doing things. It's not just, it's not just because they're playing bad defenses or they're just, commitment to the run. They have to do that. Cooper Rush is limited. He's been solid here, and he's won some games, but we see it like doesn't hit the simple throws sometimes. He just doesn't have the arm talent for it. He doesn't have any like real wiggle in the pocket of moving around and if they get their hands on you, he's pretty much sacked or you're gonna throw it away quick or whatever. So he's limited in that. They have to focus on running it. And now the question is, and I think that's what either you're alluding to or Greg Olson's alluding to, we're all looking at it here, is that if you need to be that type of team that relies on the run, then should you have a $60 million quarterback? I mean, that's kind of what it comes down to. And I think Dak has always needed the help. Most quarterbacks do. Most quarterbacks do need a running game. Patrick Mahomes, he needs one. Some more than others, but I definitely think they need a running game for sure. All right, let's go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. We got a couple more calls on the line we're going to get to, but we'll be right back after this on Cowboys Storyline.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
We got big personalities. We got big hair, big belt buckles. We got fans all across this big state and enemies in every other one. We even got a big star on the 50-yard line. Smirnoff knows football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together. With good drinks and good folks home or away, we rally together. We cry together. And we always rally cry together because, most of all, we got big love for them boys. Smirnoff, we do game days. Please drink responsibly.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Youth football and dance camps are here, presented by Invisalign. You get a chance to check out the cheerleaders at the dance camps on December 27th. You got former NFL players at football camps on the 23rd and the 27th of December. Register today at DallasCowboys.com/camps. All right, back here on Cowboys Storyline, 888-855-2297. Had a couple of callers already on the line here, so let's get right back to it. Kansas City Joe in Kansas City. Funny. Good morning, Nick. How you doing? KC Joe, man. How you doing?
Doing great this morning, Nick. How are you doing today, sir?
Great. What's up?
I'm thinking about the running back situation. I know Dowdle's looking pretty decent, but I know that Zeke's on a one-year deal. Cooks is on a one-year deal that would leave Lupke and Deuce Vaughn and Davis. Do you think we should go high in the draft with a running back just so that we have a backup for Dowdle?
Yeah, I mean, you may not have Dowdle. He's a free agent too. I mean, he's the whole running back room is up in the air right now, and so I think it would probably be a good situation for him to re-sign. Let's see what the money looks like, but he's probably going to get 1,000 yards, and I don't know if that's still the same as it used to be, but for how things started and how he's playing here down the stretch, he's going to get some kind of contract, and I think it would make sense to be here for him. He knows this system, whatever the system is, but still he knows the team, he knows the organization, and he's going to have a good chance to be the starter. But yeah, to answer your question, I would draft a running back. It doesn't have to be in the first round, of course, but any other round, if the back that you like is there, it justifies for me.
Yeah, me too, especially since we went high on Zeke and we had a really good running back when we went with, one of the top picks on him. So and that would help Dak out when he comes back. I think he's going to need that running game.
I do too, and I could see a back similar. Like I'm not saying this, don't get involved tampering here, but I'm just saying it was a couple years ago. Second round pick, was it Achane from Miami, a speed guy, somebody like that, a fast running back that can do some things out of the backfield, a little bit different than Rico. I think that would be a nice complementary back if you need that kind of. But then again, remember, free agency's first, then the draft. You may lose Rico, then you may need an every down back as well. So we'll see. We'll see how it happens here. But yeah, they need to get a younger running back at some point here in the draft.
Right. And the other thing I had is I think that Brooks has really good hands on the wide receiver group.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every time they throw him the ball, he seems like it's like, I don't know if he's got something, just catches it. Yeah. I mean, to me, they should throw him the ball a little more.
Yeah.
He seems a little more accurate.
Yeah. Jalen Brooks? You talking about Jalen Brooks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call, KC Joe. Appreciate that. Jalen Brooks has been, it's kind of been up and down for him. He talked about it after the game. He said that, there's been some frustrating moments this year. He's been inactive a couple of times, just healthy scratch inactive. They tried to get Ryan Flanoy in there. They want to get Jonathan Mingo. They made a trade for Mingo. So, but through that, he's still done a nice job. And when you look at the last, let's see, it's been 3 games since Washington game. It's really that's been 4 games. The last 4 games, he's had a couple of plays there that were not. That Washington game, he made a catch on the sideline right before the half. I thought that changed a lot. They got a field goal out of that. Got some momentum going into the locker room, and that was a big catch. And then, of course, he had the touchdown, his first touchdown of his career. So he's one that he doesn't have, great speed. He doesn't have great size. I think he's got good hands. I don't know if they're great, but he's one of those guys that he's got a lot of traits, but not one or two that just stands out. But still, if you kind of package it all together and you run the right route and you have good crisp routes and you know where you're supposed to be and you can play multiple positions, then you have some value. And I think he's doing that. He's a good young player. All right, let's go to our next caller, Ali in Florida.
Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
Well, first, I'm doing great, and I'll say this before we get started here. I want to say this to everyone, and especially you, though, and I speak for Chris as well. Thank you so much. You've talked before that you are a photographer and wildlife, and all. You sent us a couple of very beautiful photos, framed photos. The artwork is unbelievable, and you've got such a great talent, and your generosity is very much appreciated. So thank you so much for doing that.
We love you. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah.
It's just a little thank you note from all of us.
Yeah.
I love the community. It's, besides wildlife, I do a lot of war photography. And believe it or not, it's just like I unwind and relax when I listen to our StoryLine, which is great.
Yeah.
Everybody has a little out. So having said that, I want to shout out to you and Chris and all the StoryLiner, including Mrs. Jazz. Merry Christmas and happy, healthy New Year. And I want to especially thank Rob, Captain Rob, and Randy and Dylan for all the effort and everybody. I don't want to single out, but I learn every time I listen to them. So I have a Christmas wish.
Okay.
I wish Mr. Dylan get on board and create some kind of get-together in Oxnard for whoever want to participate. I think it's a great idea. And then I would love to get you in the room with Rob and the rest of the group without your cell phone, and don't put you in the position because I know you're a company man and you cannot only say certain thing and you cannot. I just want to get you an honest opinion when nobody's checking, Yeah. That would be great. My Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th. And then the question I have for you is this. I don't know how much you can elaborate on it. I say it, then I hang up and listen. I think now that the Cowboys invest in Dak $60 million, I'm a visual guy. I think Dak is at his best when they have a great offensive line in front of him. When he's rush, don't have time, then he lose that edge. So I think Cowboys, they should maybe package something. Maybe they move up, get a solid left tackle, and move Guyton to the right tackle. And then the rest of the boys they can mix and match them. But I think, personally, I'm speaking, I think we had a little drop-off for the offensive line coach. We had a good one before this year. I don't know I'm right or wrong. I thought maybe we had a little bit of drop-off, but I will take your opinion off the phone. Thank you for everything. Merry Christmas, buddy.
All right. Thanks, Ali. Appreciate that. I got two really nice photographs. One of them is just it's like a family of elephants. It's just really awesome, though. It's like, from wildlife, and I was telling Chris I should just put it like right here, It'd be not only be beautiful, but it's kind of like the elephants in the room, I mean, I don't know. Bad joke. Anyways, Ali, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And hint to everybody else that's out there that has resources to whatever it is that they do, their skills. You know what? Chris and I accept gifts all the time. I really appreciate that. Awesome. Said a lot of things. I'll say this, though. You said Jazz wants gifts, too. Jazz likes gifts. She gets a lot of gifts. I'll say this about you said at training camp, take your phone away, and then I could just really say what I believe. I mean, I tone it down. I have a potty mouth sometimes, but as far as the things that I believe, I mean it's rare that I'm sitting here just biting my tongue and don't say it. What I think about this team, I just try to be fair and down the middle. If it looks good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. I mean, and yes, it's a little different with us. We know that. We're sharing, hallway space and buses sometimes and airplanes all the time with people, and they have different agendas, and you have to be kind of careful about that. But at the same time, I mean, I'd like to think if it's bad. I get the freedom to say that, and I do, and so, and I have my opinions about a lot of things about next year. But what I say is that next year's next year. We got to get through this. And I know no one's talking about, well, I don't say no one. Irene started off the show talking about the Bucs, but for the most part, that's we're not breaking down everything that's happened. And I get that. I totally get that. But that's why I feel like the offseason is long enough. We'll talk about coaches. We'll talk about draft. We'll talk about free agents, all that stuff when it's really time to do that. Right now, you've got 25 free agents. You've got 20 or so coaches that are coaching for their life, including the head coach down. You got guys that are coaching and playing for their jobs. So, if they're doing that, then that's kind of where I think the primary focus should be. And that's kind of why I have the attitude that I have there. All right, let's go to Ronnie in New Jersey. Ronnie, what's up, man?
What's up, Nick?
How are you?
Well, not too bad. Nick, now that you said all that, somebody did have a good question for you earlier, and they were saying about Huffman and Beebe. I think the question was put not in the correct way. Maybe it's who has the higher ceiling and at which position. According to that, then I think that's how you would go.
Okay.
Who will be better at center, or who will be better at guard, and where their ceiling would be at in those positions. That's how I would play them.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But who determines that?
Well, that's going to be to whoever the coaches are going to be next year.
Right. And that's kind of what my point was. Is like, Yeah, and I'm all for that. If this guy's going to be great here, and this guy's a chance to be pretty good, it was always the case with Zach Martin. Always the case. He could play tackle. I don't think he was going to be a Hall of Fame tackle. He was going to be a Hall of Fame guard. Same with Larry Allen. So that's how you play him. So you're right in that. And just who's going to – I don't know if the people that make those decisions are actually here right now. I don't know that. But go on.
I was going to tell you because I was going to ask you about the defense. I see that they're playing much better. Odigizua is playing better. He's actually playing how the expectations were of him coming into the season, and he's playing that much better now late into the season. Is that something that you see where you would consider saying, let's say, I know you don't want to speak about, the future's the future, but let's say the draft came down, free agency comes in first, which I think they should change that. It should be draft first, then free agency.
Yeah. Sometimes I think that way too, and then other times I'm like, no, I like it like this. So I'm with you on that one. But
so our problem has been, and since the 90s, I would say, or since Bill Parcells was here, since Bill Parcells left us, because when he was here, we had a great run defense. But since that era, we haven't had this at least very good run defense, or almost. You can't run against this team. You got to pass.
Right.
If we had a dominant defensive tackle, and that's what I would go for. Like this year, we've been drafting offensive linemen. Yeah, I'm not saying. Let's say we had Slater. What was Slater that when Parsons came out?
Yep.
And it was between Slater and Parsons.
Yeah.
Well, if there was a tackle like that, then yeah, grab that guy. But if there's a defensive lineman, defensive tackle, I think we got to upgrade our run defense and get some pass rush out of that defensive tackle, because right now, yeah, we're getting it out of Odigizua, but I see that when I heard that our nose tackle was playing a little bit better, but we need a lot more.
Right.
We need a lot more out of that position. That's my opinion.
All right, Ronnie, appreciate that. I agree. Defensive tackle spot, and they tried. I mean, they drafted Mozzie. First round pick, and they hadn't picked in the first round a defensive tackle in over 30 years. And so they kind of thought, hey, taking him here would be good. And he's been solid this year. He's still after almost 2 seasons, he's probably not where you would want him, your first round pick, to be. After 2 seasons, in first round pick, you'd like for them to maybe be in consideration for a Pro Bowl, and that kind of stuff. That's kind of what happened with I think Byron Jones about that time for him, and Tyler Smith. I'm talking about late first rounders like that, but not Mozzie, and we'll see about Guyton this year. Just hasn't been what we thought there. But yeah, I'm with you on the defensive tackle position. It's going to be hard to replace Osa there. If he does leave in free agency, it's going to be hard to re-sign him. I can guarantee that. But we'll see if that's one of their top priorities to do that. All right, let me go to another break here. Last one here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back for a couple more calls.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Altec Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's AltecLansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
Vote for Amanda Foster for the Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. You can go to fan of the year at NFL.com/fan of the year. Vote for Amanda. All right, let's go to the phone lines again. Zach in Atlanta has been waiting. Zach, what's up?
Nick, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
You just can't get away from some of us. You know, you move the time.
I know.
And we'll still find
I'm glad.
you.
I wasn't trying to get away from it. I was really. I appreciate you guys, this crew more than ever. I don't like to change the times around. This will be the only time we change it up this week. But Friday's show will be canceled. We're only doing half of our shows. We only did half the shows last Thursday, and we were one of them. But on Friday, they're making up for it. We won't do shows on Friday. But I hate having to switch up the times. I appreciate Mix Shots for doing a swap, and appreciate you guys for being a part of it. What's up, Zach?
Sure thing. Well, hey, 'twas the game before Christmas, and all through the star came calls from storyliners near and far. It's hosted by Nick, produced by Beam and Jazz, and led by the captain in Vegas. And come clashing opinions on what will take us to greatness. And that's all I got, because the opinions fly left and right. You know what I mean? I started writing that on the break. And
yeah.
Then, you know.
Yeah, I mean.
And then you came knocking on the door.
I love it. That's good.
Yeah, man.
When you
I'll try to flesh that out.
No, that's good. When you added Jazz in there, which I appreciate, and I know she does as well.
Thank you, Jazz. I know Josh is behind there sometime.
Yeah,
maybe today.
But when you added her, that made me know that this wasn't something we've been working on since the 5th grade. I mean, we've been this is pretty new, so I like it. It was flowing all right.
No, man, not 5th grade. I write at a 6th grade level, so let's get that clear.
Well, when you said Jazz and then you said Rob, I thought you might be rhyming another word with that. I was like, whoa, what are we doing here? But it's good.
PG on here. Yeah, man, that's all I got. I try to keep it light whenever I call in.
I knew it too. When you called, I had this feeling it was going to be something kind of sarcastic and fun, a little snarky.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
That's how you get through a 6 and 8 season.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Yeah, I mean, hey, we're finding the run game 14 games too late. That's fun, isn't it? Shout out to Rico. He's doing his thing. I think we should pair. I heard this somewhere else, but it makes sense. He has like a Diet Marion Barber feel. Maybe this was on the show or somewhere else, but he's got a fun play about him, and I think he's coming into his own the more opportunities he gets. Pair another running back with him in the draft, and we'll have fun next year with the running game if we actually commit to running the ball. Whoever is at the helm calling those plays, please run the ball. It works. Looking ahead to the Buccaneers, this guy played for both teams. He's kind of in the public spotlight, so I feel like we know his personality-ish, but Keyshawn Johnson, you covered him in his time here. Also thinking about Martin Gramatica. So he was a little spitfire, man. I liked watching him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's in a highlight that most of us would like to forget with the Seattle game. He didn't have anything to do with that, but he was with us for a moment.
He kind of did.
Oh, he could have thrown a block. Yeah,
but I'll tell you this, and I've learned the hard way: don't say anything to him about it. I didn't learn, but somebody asked me about Josh Ellis the other day, and it's kind of weird. And so, Josh Ellis and Josh Ellis did make a comment to Martin Gramatica about throwing a block or not throwing one, and that didn't turn out well at training camp. That was kind of a tense moment. But this one of the Cowboys Bucks players. Don't forget Alvin Harper. Played a little bit.
And Alvin Harper, I know it's your guy.
Joey Galloway.
That's your guy.
Joey Galloway.
And Joey Galloway.
Galloway and Keyshawn traded for each other. All right, man. Thanks, Zach, for the call.
Man. Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Appreciate it. Let's go to Robbie in Cocoa Beach. Robbie, what's up?
Hey, Nick. Wow, that was a lot of lag there for a second.
Yeah.
How are you today, buddy?
I'm good.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas to Jazz and Beamer, even though he's probably not there, but
no,
it's all good.
But he's
working.
Man,
I got
he's
a lot
working
today
and
if
listening.
I can.
Go ahead, Robbie.
All right. First, I want to give a shout-out to Israel McComu. I think I said his name right.
Yep.
That guy has been like Byron Jones was. We were talking about him earlier. Safety, cornerback, nickel. I think you could see his understanding of the defense finally coming together this year, and I'd like to see it. And maybe he just needed a couple years because he came from a smaller school. I don't know, but I'm really impressed with him, and he deserves his flowers. DeMazzi, you know what? I'm going to say last year was kind of a wash for him. Loved Dan Quinn, loved everything he did on defense, but it was kind of well known that he wanted faster defensive tackles, smaller, faster.
Yep.
And having Mozzie in there now, finally getting under Zim's coaching, maybe I see good things from next year. Put on another 5 or 8 pounds, maybe we'll see, get him up there.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And to Rico, man, he has really turned it on this year, and I thought he would have been I think you and I talked about it before. He'd be a solid number 2 back, but I think he's really taken a step, man. I'm really impressed. Other than that, I'll let you talk about any of those things you want to, and Merry Christmas to you guys.
All right.
God bless.
Thank you. Again, you know, when you're talking about players' weight, what their role is going to be in certain schemes, you know, that does come down to what the staff looks like and what they're asking for certain players. You know, Mozzie's weight's kind of gone up and down, and you know, not always in a good way. So you know, it's been a little bit of a storyline there. So I think he's playing at a good weight right now. He's still strong enough. You know, you see, I thought he had a really big play in the game the other day on second down, because, and now their running back escapes me, Hubbard. He looked like he was going for a first down. He had a lot of momentum hitting that line, and all of a sudden he just hits a wall called Mozzie, who throws him around down immediately. Now it's third down, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. Looked like it was going to be a first down, but he made the stop, and then on third down they had to throw it. That was the tipped interception up in the air. So really good play by Mozzie. It made one of my don't forget these 5 plays, because it was one that easily forgotten, but it set up a third down situation, and the Cowboys ended up getting a turnover. So I thought that was a really big play there. And as for Rico, looking back here, I think Rico is going to, if he can get there, I think he's going to be the first player in Cowboys history, first undrafted player for 1,000-yard rushing season. I'm looking through the stats. I don't see that another one doing that. So that's impressive. If he can get there, he needs 120 yards in the next 3 games. He should be able to, based off of what we've seen. I mean, he should probably get 1,100 at this rate. All right, let's go to last caller. We are going to get one more in. Jeremy from D.C. Jeremy, what's up?
Hey, yo, Nick. What's up, Nick? How you doing, brother?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. You didn't hurt nobody today, did you?
No. Day isn't over yet, but yeah, no, I haven't, and I appreciate that. I probably hurt some people's feelings because, I might have done that. Hurt some people's feelings because I basically missed a meeting.
Hey, it comes with the job.
Yeah, it happens. What's up, man?
All right, so quick question is, do you think that if we can't re-sign Chauncey Golston, that you think we should go after Carl Lawson? Because he's been showing up, like, seriously, these last couple of weeks. And then I wanted to throw 2 numbers at you since I missed last time.
Okay.
My first number is Emmitt Smith, 22.
Okay.
You know who that is.
Yeah, Victor Scott.
And I believe that win number was 59, correct?
Yep.
And number 59.
59.
And then I'm going to leave you with that, Nick. And then I'll talk to you tomorrow, buddy.
All right. Have a good one. 22. If it's not Bob Hayes, it's not Emmitt Smith. I mean, there's not a lot there. There was a defensive back named Victor Scott that I remember. He had a interception for a touchdown in a game against Washington. They had 5 interceptions, I believe, on Joe Theismann, and it was his birthday. They sang a happy birthday. Victor Scott had a pick 6 in there, and he wore 22. And then 59. I don't know why Derek Brownlow was the first name that just popped up for me. It was Derek Brownlow, 59. He didn't even wear it. Yeah, he did. He wore that number. But Anthony Hitchens would be another one there. Really good player. And, Anthony Hitchens reminds me of sort of what we were talking about before, about let's see who the coaching staff is. Because Anthony Hitchens is one of my favorite examples of, I remember a lot of people complaining they could have got him in the 6th round. 7th round? Why they jumped and got him in the 4th round? Well, Rod Marinelli had a vision for that type of player that he wanted in his defense, and he had a vision that he could come in and play right away. Well, he did. I think he had 100 tackles as a rookie. So sometimes you really do have to rely on the coaches, and that's a situation that I think, let's see what happens with coaches and scouts. Let's see the type of players that they'll be looking to get. So, all right, guys, it was fun. A lot of good calls today. Appreciate you guys adapting to the change, the time change. We'll be back to a regular time tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time for Storyline for both Wednesday and Thursday for the rest of the week. All right, so for Chris Beam, still working, not here, but still working and doing a great job. For Jazz in the back, I'm Nick Eatman. See you tomorrow on Cowboys Storyline. See you.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?